My hair got big.
Let's get it. It's the Eternal Underground production. Fire Reach.
Just the max. See?
I know what it is, man.
So 2 minutes. You gotta get into it, though. You know what I mean?
Now tuned
Come on.
in
You
to the
gotta get into it. Come on. Come on. You gotta get into it. Come on. Come on. You know the word. Come on. Come on. You know the words.
Don't waste your time. Ain't no need to straddle the fence. Now you can take a stop with
Don't say
competition where
anything.
you take the gazelle, not
We do that together.
will change your mind.
That's who was like the quarterback.
Come on, tell it.
No hesitation, you put in your place and the discussion. No shit focus over here, keep it 100. Got a question, we gon' come with the answer like Iverson. You know now, just time it is shown. Repeating your brotherly love. Champions, Baltimore in the building.
Ready? Come on. You gotta get into it. Listen.
Follow the same page. It's deeper than sports talk. It's something of family. Oh, you want Philly stay less. I'm running telesports fanatics that you know I'm live. Tune in every weekend when we going live.
Look who's in the building tonight.
Tune in every weekend.
She said she had to come see C. Taking the lead.
Let's get it.
So let's do it.
Wire Reach. The sports breed passion. Ain't no better place to get it than right here on HBS, where we never stop.
It's the Maddie takeover.
Yeah, Maddie takeover. She gone.
And just like that.
You gonna say you gonna do it? All right. We have seemingly lost our junior go-host for the minute. She was going to be doing the opening. Yeah, right. We should just hold it up until she comes back. I am Patrick Hodge from Baltimore, Maryland. He is Sean James Harrison in Philly, PA. Turn our third man in the booth from Oklahoma. What's up, people? Allow us to introduce ourselves and wish you all, to those that celebrate, a happy Easter weekend, happy Passover. To everybody else out there that celebrates that, we got some things on tap tonight. We are going from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. strong. So we want you guys to get in where you fit in, as we like to say. 888-531-8305. 17. Say hi to the people, man. So you're going to introduce Sean in this topic around the world? All right, so Madison, we're leading off the show with sports around the world with Sean.
This week in Around the World of Sports, you get the NHL, radio silence. NFL, the draft will be done via webcams, which should be interesting. Seeing how, apparently you need to have face-to-face recognition with people to have a draft, from what we were told at least. Third, the XFL, the league may be bankrupt already. Hate to say I told y'all so, but there it is. Fourth, NBA 2K tournament and NBA horse tournament. The NBA horse tournament, I think, is interesting in itself because the way they're doing it, they're setting up like webcams where these guys are going to play on their personal courts at their homes. Nobody's actually going to be really in contact with each other. The elder player in each competition is going to get a coin toss, get the coin toss to see who goes first. And last, the MLB may have their entire season in Arizona. No fans allowed, though. I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does, I feel like they're opening the floodgates for just kind of like accepting the corona in there, because all it takes is one of those players not to follow the rules of being quarantined, and then everybody gets it. And one last thing, as I read these notes coming down, that's right, the Houston Astros, they're still cheaters. And that wraps up for
nothing has changed. Hey, that's it. Nothing has changed on that front. Yeah, man. I like the things you just talked about there. We're going through there, and Madison's got a fan club.
She does,
So
for real.
let's get the yeah, right. Hey, Michelle, nice to see you as well. You got Madison blushing here. BJ, what's up, man? Look how big she's getting. Aunt Laura, hello, Aunt Laura. She's gonna be. I don't know how long she's gonna make it. We're trying to get her to talk, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Do you have anything that you want to say about sports and no sports happening or anything? Nothing. Okay, then.
I
never
seen her so fast to put her hair over her face. I am not even here.
Right? Oh, I know. You want to tell Sean what you did with your hair yesterday? Go ahead, tell him. Tell him what you did to your hair yesterday. He'll appreciate it. And if you don't, girl, actually, you guys can't see, but the end of her hair is really red. The red and the ends in the back are red. She had it in 2 ponytails yesterday and dyed it with tropical punch Kool-Aid. Is that right? Yeah. So it's kind of red. It was pretty cool. It looked freaky doing it, but turned out pretty good. That's how she's keeping herself entertained during the quarantine. For Pops. Yeah. So a couple things that you mentioned and around the world that I'm glad you brought up, because I have a couple questions for you. One, you already know we're going to get into. Bring Danny in on this too. But how do you feel about the horse competition?
I think it's cool, to be honest, because I think it's like the NBA still trying to get their face out there. They're not going just to be stagnant during this time, which is nice. They're taking this approach kind of like the NFL is with the draft, where they're saying, we're still going to do stuff and maintain the face of our league without actually putting any of our players or personnel in any real danger. Is it, like I said, this is better than, I think the NBA continuously putting their face out there is better than what we've seen from the NHL and the MLB so far, which is just kind of just hiding right now. They're not like they seem to be the only league outside the NFL trying to keep their face in front of the public. And let's be honest, if there's any one of the four that really need to keep their face in the public and shouldn't be as quiet as they are and not really trying to do anything, it's the NHL. Because the NHL is the sport that seemed to be picking up the most steam. And we all know ever since the lockout they really lost a lot of fans due to the lockout. They haven't really never regained momentum since the lockout. And I think, again, this is why the NBA and the NFL, I think, are just light years ahead of the NHL and the MLB, is because they constantly just keep throwing their players' faces in our face.
Yeah, at first I really wasn't a really big fan of it. A gimmick, but it is a gimmick. But the format is okay. I like how they're being responsible, right? We're keeping everybody in the participants. I like as well, right? Like I like how you're having a mix. You got some females in there and stuff like that. So like Kevin Dixon says they should have did. I think that's probably true. I think that would be something that's good for the All-Star game. So I like it. So I know you being an NBA guy, I wanted to get your Danny. Well, let's bring you in on this. What's your take on the horse competition that's going to take place?
His boy's in it.
I think it's interesting. I mean, people out there kind of need to eat something, right? We're just dying over here, not being able to really watch any new sports. I think everybody's kind of getting their fix by watching old sports, old college games from the Jordan era, whatever ESPN is trying to do. But I think this kind of gives people to look forward to. It's something, I think.
No, I hear you. I hear it is something.
Give people something.
Yeah. No, and I think that's it, right? It beats the old reruns. It beats the old things, So it will give something to talk about and be really interesting. Hey Nate, I think that how do you feel about the horse competition?
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
What's going on?
I think something's better than nothing. That's the way a lot of people. For entertainment purposes, you gotta do something to try to save face value. Because I think as a whole right now, with what's going on, everybody's losing so much money. You gotta look at it from a business standpoint too. You know what I mean? So anything to keep, get ratings up just to get people going, I think that would be the best thing to do. I know in doing virtual racing, I mean, it's not the same, but it's something. You know what I mean? And you actually have the actual drivers racing. Pretty much, it's a modified Xbox or PS4. That's the best way for me to explain it. And they're going around the same track virtually. So
we can see.
Yeah,
no, I think
it's cool because, like you said, it's something, Nate. And this is I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, but I turned to my girl yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, and I was like, I can't say I miss sports yet, and I don't know if I'm crazy for that. I don't know what it is, but I can't say I miss it yet because we're still able to see it every single day. Like, I enjoy watching these reruns. I don't know what anybody's saying. I watched the Lakers beat Boston. I watched LeBron beat Boston twice. I mean, this has been so much fun for me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy for it. I watched the Eagles Super Bowl again. I watched the Yankees World Series run in 2009. It's a great time of the year. I've yet to watch my team lose. This is wonderful. I haven't seen a losing season in years.
What do you think about that? You missing sports yet? Are you? What sport are you missing? You got to talk. You don't know, or like. So let me ask you this from your perspective, right? I talk sports. I watch a lot of sports. So do you miss sports being on TV, or are you kind of like, yeah, no sports? You got to talk. Both. So is there one sport that you miss more than the other, or are you kind of like, there's no sports on TV? You don't know? Come back to you. Okay, we'll come back to you on that.
Maddie, I'll tell you this. Logan is a huge basketball head. Huge basketball head. And the one sport he misses more than anything else in the world right now is he misses that every day when he came home, or every other day when he came home. The Sixers were blasting on my TV. And he told me that he's going to be, and he told me that he's upset that he's not going to be able to play soccer either. Yeah, I got to see a head shake.
How do you feel about that? Yeah. Because why? Because you're about to do what this year?
Soccer.
Look in there and tell
Oh,
him.
I heard a There you go.
Yeah, you heard. Yeah, she's about to play soccer. She was going to play soccer this year.
I'm telling you, yeah, it's
Man, that's cool. That's awesome. My daughter plays soccer,
Look at this.
and she is feeling the itch because she can't go out there and play with her teammates.
Yeah, I tell you what.
So,
our ratings, man, Madison, our ratings are going through the roof here.
I know, right?
Like, what is going on? People are watching. People are like, oh my gosh! Like, what are you going to do about
Madison.
this?
It's not you guys. It's Madison.
Right. We're feeling this. We're gonna have her bring down like a Shirley Temple or something next week, so she can bring.
Next week it's gonna be Maddie Hodge and Logan Harrison show.
Right. Just let them take over, right? Yeah, but Sean, it's a funny thing you said there. You know this firsthand. Danny and Nate could probably attest to this.
Mm-hmm.
I really love baseball, right? So I'm really starting to feel like that's what you miss. You miss baseball. So I'm starting to feel like the baseball. But some of the things that I do miss, like my friend Sean in the comments, Jackie Goss, right down in New Jersey. What's up, Jackie? Not having madness play in the MLB and it has been tough, but the classic returns have been fun. I think that's spot on, right? Like I think anybody who, even the casual sports fan, probably did miss March Madness, right? I missed the Masters, right? Like the Masters
Yep.
being played this weekend. That was huge, right? There are certain things like that. And the thing about this draft, I'm happy they're still doing the draft because I think we need it, like in some sort of way. But I'm really concerned about the technical issues that may happen, right?
Yeah.
And it's important to know that the league doesn't really have these fixes in place. Like I think next weekend, Danny, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think next weekend they're doing a private mock draft for all NFL teams to run through it to see if there's any delays, hiccups, or anything like that about how they can fix it, right? But I was listening to the NFL radio, and one of the things one of the commentators said that he had asked a question, he was like, what happens if you're trying to make a trade on draft day? You only have so much time to complete the trade, right, on draft day. And and your phone line goes out, or you lose connection, right? And you can't get back in time to what part of the trade you want to send back, or to make it complete. Does that trade go away? Things like that. What happens? Yeah, what happens if you're just trying to make it on in the time, and for the Eagles, right? And like you lose feed all of a sudden, right as you're announcing the pick. Nobody gets to hear which like what's happening with that stuff. And to me, that's the concerning part, is that we haven't heard any defined or I haven't heard or I haven't read anywhere where things are defined like how the process is going to be.
Well, how about this? How about what happens because you're doing this all online, and online is very easily hacked. What happens if you get hacked while you're doing this?
Yeah.
What happens if
because we all
what happens if some computer some rebels just go in and hack the entire NFL hack the NFL draft, blow up our screens with whatever they want, because everything's now, instead of being broadcasted live, is now being put through a computer system. I think they said they're using Zoom. So what happens if Zoom gets hacked in the process of them doing this? Like this is the problem with technology, is that as cool as it is, technology is hackable. And once you put something in place that's hackable, obviously the thing of that is you're going to get hacked. So I just hope they have smart enough people in the room to stop everything that you said, plus what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Nate, I think you're about to say something before I cut you off.
Well, yeah, I will add in one more concerning apple to this whole thing, because I use a lot of these virtual call lines to do business, from home. And a lot of times they cut you off right in the middle of a conversation. And like, it's different if you're like at your office building where you can use a landline. You see what I'm saying? So if you're doing a lot of these conference calls, and I think that's pretty much the system that a lot of these guys can be doing to make trades. So we're going to have some type of larger conference call atmosphere. But when the boards get overran by too many people, they just shut it off. You know what I mean? And, back to what Patrick was saying, if you're in the middle of a trade, you're trying to make a quick phone call, network that's supposed to be secure, what happens if that happens? You know what I mean? That could be a major concern. Because these guys can't go to the office to do these trades.
Right.
You know what I mean? They can't go to the boardroom.
And
so
yeah, and then everybody has to be like at a different
Why
place.
can't they use the same system?
Go ahead, Danny.
I was gonna say, why can't they use the system that they've used before? Like, what's so different between this? The only thing different that I know of is they're going to be streaming. But as far as trying to get a hold of each other in the back end, like owner to owner, trying to make these trades, then can't they use the same stuff that they've been doing for years? It's the same process.
From what I've learned, I thought they were using like some type of landline service versus a virtual service to make those trades.
Yes. So
I think that's pretty different.
I think that's the only difference.
Actual office building.
Yeah, I think that's the only difference, Danny, is that landline, and the fact that a lot of people like have those war rooms set up at the draft too. The people are there on the floor, so you can make those trades happen on the floor. Like the information can go back and forth. But you're right though, Danny. I mean, that's a good point. Like some of those systems should still remain in place, but but the thing that even you forgot about it, or maybe I just never realized, but I forgot that you only do have a certain amount of time to get that trade in. Like if you're like, and I think it just comes down to Danny when you're trading that pick, like if you're trading pick 10 or whatever, like it has to be announced in a certain. But parlaying that, let me ask you.
I just figured they would
yeah.
just be calling on cell phones.
I'm sure some of that
cell phones aren't necessarily secure.
Yeah. There you go.
That'll be the only reason. I mean, unless that's not a big concern for them, cell phone conversations aren't secure. That's been proven time and time again.
And I think that's what they're trying to figure out now, Danny, as well. Like Sean said, and like Madison had just mentioned, because Madison, you know, like your kids, everybody's kids are out there have been using these Zoom meetings for schoolwork, and they've been getting hacked. You know, we've hacked on our shows on different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the big concern. Because you know that's going to happen. Can you imagine like the Howard Stern prank, Baba Booey, coming in when somebody's trying to you know, make their pick or something, or you know, right, Sean? Like, crazy
no,
I mean,
we went from NFL draft to Baba Booey.
Yeah, can you
I love
know,
this.
can you imagine that happen? Yeah, you know, Miami with the 5th overall pick. You know, whatever pick they have selects Baba Boy. You know, it gets cut off.
It would be classic, though.
Yeah, it would be classic. It would be classic, right? And listen, you kind of expect it to happen, right?
No, see,
I mean?
I feel like we have to go into this assuming that the people doing this are smarter than us. You know, do we have to go into this assuming like we have to say, okay, well, the people that are doing this are smarter than us and have been doing this a lot longer than us and are smart enough to know how to they already thought of this stuff, right? But that's what we have to assume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You would think, but you know, listen, technology.
I would say
technology like Father Time is undefeated, right? There's always that one person out there that's smarter. You know, there's already somebody out there that has, you know, they're just waiting for April 23rd, right? They're just waiting to interrupt that broadcast. You know, and then they're waiting to do it the next night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
it's. But I hear you though, Sean. No, I hear you. You would think that people. No, I feel you.
That people are just sitting around thinking of the same stuff that we're talking right now, and they have all the safeguards in place to prevent all this stuff from happening. They've ran the trial and error of it crashing and then not crashing, and that they know how to fix this stuff. That clearly they can't have 32 teams on the same chat. That's not going to work. They're going to have to video conference every single time when somebody's on the clock. So, you know, it's going to have to, you know,
right.
Bengals on the clock, then the Bengals are done, the clock, they hang up the call, goes to the next one, they're on the clock, hang up the call, and so on and so forth all the way down. And that way you'll be able to minimize the amount of traffic you have coming in and out of the feed. 1, and 2, you know, you're not getting all the extra noise because you're still going to have the traffic coming in out of the feed, and they're still going to have live. You imagine they're still going to have people broadcasting it, right? Like you're not going to have Mel.
Yeah,
so you're not going to have Mel Kiper.
No, I think Mel Kiper and McShay and them are going to be there, but I think what ESPN and NFL Network has decided to do is that only one of them are going to be carrying it, and the other one is going to stream their feed in. I'm not sure which one is doing which, because NFL Network, they're already pretty much on skeleton crew as it is now. So yeah. I think ESPN might carry it. I don't know, Dre, Mike, you know, which one might be carrying it and who's going to be streaming it, but that's a great question though.
It's
yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. So I mean, so let me ask you this, and I had this conversation with Keith in our group and things like that. And Nate, I'll start with you, then Danny, and then we'll go to Sean. You're gonna be drafted, right? You know you're gonna be drafted. Would you have wanted the draft to continue this year, or would you have rather it waited, rather been postponed or whatever? Nate, you're first.
I think for marketing purposes, so people really get to know who you are. It'll have been better for them to see my face after the event versus them doing it virtually.
Okay.
I don't think that. I think that's it'll be a missed opportunity virtually. But I understand why they have to do it though, and I think that if I was in one of their shoes, I would understand it. But then I just have to work that much harder to get noticed after the draft once I start playing.
All right, Danny.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, if you're not a top 5 draft pick, like these flashy QBs that everybody knows, like Joe Burrow, and I can't really think of any off the top of my head, Tua and Jalen Hurts, they already have that national notoriety. But then you got these other positions like linemen or defensive ends that people really don't pay attention to throughout the season, so they don't know who they are unless they play for that team or something like that. So you've got these less known positions that people really don't pay attention to, and these kids can get highlight films and stuff like that going on when they get picked, and people will understand who they are. So if I'm them, I definitely would like this opportunity to be drafted. If I'm somebody like Joe Burrow, that's a guaranteed number 1, number 2 pick in the draft, it probably doesn't bother me that much. I know where I'm going to go. It's a sure thing. People know who I am. I don't think it'll really affect my notoriety that much.
I'll go, Sean. Good night, baby. You gonna say good night to everybody else? Come on, say it real loud.
Good night.
Oh, good night.
Good night. Yeah, she probably said something. So for me, I would want to be drafted still, right? I think that one of the things that you work for 4 years of college is getting that call up on the stage. I think it's cool, and I think Danny, something that you just said, and I'll read Keith's comment. I think that these players, they'll be able to get that little bit more of exposure because now it might not so rough, right? Like they'll be able to put together these kids' highlight packages a little bit more and play them a little bit longer because there's not going to be a lot of talking in between, right? I don't know if they're going to be able to interview these kids remotely. That would be cool as well if they can have something set up where they can FaceTime these kids and get the reaction when they get drafted and get a quick interview with them. But I think for some of these other guys, like Danny mentioned, like the lesser known guys, I think this will give them a little bit more time because then they'll be able to show their highlight packages. They'll be able to get into their backstories a little bit more because there's going to be filler, right? There's going to have to be filler time, right? And they're still working out like if they want to do a round per day and things like that. So yeah, I'm coming out. I still want the draft to go on because I still want my name called, right? Even if I'm not there to get my shirt, shake the commissioner's hand, I still want that record.
Interesting. If I'm a player, I just want my contract to be done. And Keith said it the best. I just want my contract to be get. The sooner I'm drafted, the sooner I can get my contract signed, the sooner I become a millionaire. Especially if you're a top, especially if you're a first round draft pick in general. I need that. I need the money. I need to get that signed. Most of these kids are broke college students coming out and need that money. They're fat. They want to all support their families and whatnot. Need the money, plain and simple. So if I'm in the draft, I want to get the draft done and over with, just so I can get the contract done and over with sooner. The sooner I'm drafted, the sooner my contract gets done. And the way they're throwing around money in the NFL right now, there's no better time.
And both of you have a good point there. And something that I was thinking about that I'm surprised that we haven't seen. I'm surprised that, well, I guess I shouldn't say surprised, but I want to see these contracts done fast, right? Like, if Cincinnati knows they're taking Joe Burrow, which I don't think they absolutely know beyond what that's what they're doing. When they get to who's going first, let's get these guys' contract done right away. Let's keep the good information and the good vibe continuing to flow. So I like that, Sean. I think you're absolutely right. Like you said, Keith hit the nail right on the head. Hey, listen, get these contract done. Let's get this done. So, are you looking forward to the draft, Nate? Are you still looking forward to it?
Yeah, I think it's still going to be good. And like I said, something's better than nothing. So I think this is a positive. This is a good step in the right direction due to the situation.
All right, Danny,
I think that that's a first thing we need to.
Yeah. Danny, you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it. I'm more interested just to see how things are run. Kind of like, I want to see how they're going to do it because it's interesting. It's something new. And I just want to see how well it goes over. So I'm not really interested in seeing where players go per se. I just want to see how they're going to do. I just want to see how they're going to handle something new like this.
Right. So you're more interested in the logistics and the operation aspect of it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that might be the future. That might be like how they do drafts 10, 15 years from now.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I am looking forward to it for all facets. I'm definitely interested in the operations of it. I want to see how it looks behind the scenes. I hope something crazy goes down. Like I hope there is. I hope we get every scenario that we've talked about because I want to see how it's handled. Well, yeah, I want a little bit of chaos. A little bit of chaos is good.
That sounds like you want a lot of chaos.
No. I mean, I want trades announced, things like that. I don't want it to be hacked. Like I don't want this experience to be ruined for the guys that names are going to be called because it's already different, right? And we can say that they don't care, things like that, but that's not true. They do care. It's one of the things they work for. So I hope it goes smooth in that regard. But I do want a little bit of chaos. Absolutely, Sean. Are you looking forward to it?
Listen, I don't want chaos. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I hope this thing gets hacked. That'll be great if it wastes 10 minutes of the show them trying to unhack it.
I don't want it to be hacked. I want action, is what I'm saying.
We get action every year. I don't think anything different from this year. The only thing different about this year is all going to be live cams. I don't think action-wise, like you're talking trades and that kind of stuff, I don't think that's going to be any different. We're going to have a dumb team that's going to move up for a guy that's like Mitch Trubisky. We're going to have an even dumber team move up. Like, this is all stuff that's going to happen. It's a standard in the league every year. You always have a Chicago Bears or a Cleveland Browns that trying to do something stupid. So, I mean, let's be real.
No. Let's be real about it. No, I hear you. Speaking of that, so Danny Spalding got a question for you. Ready?
All right.
How many wide receivers wide receivers are going in the first round? I want to say 3. Nate, how many wide receivers are going in the first round?
I'm going to say about 4 to 5.
4 to 5. Sean, how many do you think are going in the first round?
At least 6.
Woo-wee! Man. Patrick Hodge, how many are going in the first round? I'm going to go with Danny. I'm going to say 3 to 4, but I think, Sean, you're probably going to be right. I think the number is probably going to be closer to 6. I was watching a thing last night about it, and they were saying it's so deep. And they were saying that, if you're just patient, you can get a receiver in any round, right? But some of the guys had 4, and they got you got Judy, you got CeeDee Lamb, Ruggs, and then some people are putting Justin Jefferson as the 4th one to go.
Those are my 4. And I think what's his name? Hembert from Penn State can get up in there as well.
He could. I would be surprised if he lasts past the second round. There are a lot of teams that want to take him. Both of our teams want him.
I'll be surprised if he lasts past the Patriots.
Yeah, that's where some people have Jefferson coming in at. Here's my thing, and I said this to you last week, and Danny, you weren't here, but I'm expecting the Patriots to trade up. I'm expecting the Patriots to be trade partners with Detroit, and I'm expecting the Patriots to draft a quarterback. That's what I'm thinking, and it's out there that Detroit is taking calls. They're willing to move back, So that kind of goes back to Sean's point. There's going to be someone silly that moves up, and maybe what we feel as a reach might be a reach. And there's going to be people that play it right. And I think it's going to enter draft when it's all said and done. A lot of good players coming out. A lot of chances for clubs to miss this step, as well, right? Overvalue someone or undervalue someone. It really depends on how the thing falls, man. Somebody that's really good just may get pushed down just because of a run on a certain position, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we could see it kind of like a standard type thing, right? Once that one receiver goes, people might feel hard pressed that they might not get the one they want, and you might just see receivers go, or you might see a run on those offensive tackles, right? There's a couple of defensive guys. There's a couple. We know Burrow, Chase Young, they're going right away, right? After that, who's next, man? Is it Tua? Is it Herbert? You know what I mean? Where's Jordan Love fit into this equation? You know what I mean? So it's really in the eye of the beholder. Go ahead, Sean.
Do we see any team, let's just say with a top 7, 8, 9 pick that has a player on their team that they're trying to get rid of, possibly trade back and that pick just to get rid of that player? Like, for instance, Detroit, like you're just saying. Does Detroit try to get out of that Matt Stafford contract by using him as a trade piece just to move back to get rid of that contract, knowing that they're not going to get a quarterback now because they're moving back, but they're getting rid of that, that overpaid contract they gave a guy that has the worst losing record to any team over 500 in football?
Here's the funny thing.
They can't get out of it. Now, you said the Patriots, right? What's the chance that the Patriots trade for him, trade up, take on Stafford, take on the contract, and then don't even draft the quarterback? They draft the wide receiver on top of that. They draft the CeeDee Lamb.
I think that scenario will not work because I think if they were going to trade for him, they were. But I read something somewhere, and I'll have to go dig it up. Even if even if the Lions are able to trade Matt Stafford, they're still on the hook for like 18 to 20 million of his salary or something like that. That's why he can't be traded. Like, they can't get out of his contract even with the trade. There's some kind of hiccup, some kind of language in there or something. That's why he hasn't been traded. Like, forget about, we want him, this and that, and I'm sure they do. But the real reason they can't trade him is because they're still on the hook for like $20 million for like the next 2 years, even if they trade him. How crazy is that? That's Detroit, though, right?
We talked about stupid teams doing stupid things, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason.
That was when I read that.
There's a reason Detroit wasted Calvin Johnson's career, wasted Barry Sanders' career. Detroit's known to do this.
Talk about it. Yeah, man. It's tough, crazy world out there.
Yeah.
And I tell you what's something else that's going to be interesting to watch on along those lines. Like some of these free agent deals that haven't been finalized yet because guys couldn't get physicals and things like that done. What happens if a team is able to draft a player in the same position? Right? What happens to that pending free agent contract? Does that get ripped up? Team's going to walk away from those. That's something to keep. That's why I don't know how much attention you've noticed or been paying to waiver wire, but a lot of the deals are like starting to get announced in rapid fashion now. So that's something to keep our eye on as well too, right? Like some of these guys out here that have signed, like Todd Gurley, right? He just got announced. Not that the Falcons were going to walk away from him deal, monetary wise and things like that, but like some other cats out there, that just haven't been able to get physicals or they can't finalize that contract language. We've seen a couple of these deals fall through already because of Eli Apple, Michael Brosh, right? Just can't come to terms. So our team's going to draft the player in that same position and then walk away from that potential free agent. So that's something they keep an eye on as well.
So
right?
I got a question for you.
All right, fellas.
As we wrap this topic up and move on, because I mentioned 2 names. I said Barry Sanders and I said Calvin Johnson, and just kind of
yes, sir.
Unintentional foreshadowing. The question I have for you and Nate and Danny is, if you could pick any player from any sport and take him off the team that he was drafted to and played for his entire career and move him to a different team, what player, what team, and why?
Whew.
So that's easy.
Okay. Who's first? Yeah, it's easy for me. I got 2 of them right on top of my back. Who's first?
Let's go, Danny.
Nah, don't go to me. I don't know. I got to think about this.
Okay.
Nate, I heard you going to chime in. Go ahead, Nate.
Go ahead, Nate.
No, we're saying
Any sport, any player
sport.
that
I
is
swear to God,
drafted
if you bring up racing,
and played
I'm taking my laptop and I'm throwing it through the window onto County Line Road.
and played for that team their entire career. So you got to remember that, right? So they drafted and played for that team their entire career.
Well, I'm going to take.
They could have been traded. They could have been traded on draft day or whatever, but no, let's keep it at that because that's good.
Right.
The way you had a question, the way you were good, I like it. So it keeps race out of it. Go ahead, Nate.
Okay. I got two. All right, I'll put Barry Sanders on the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
And Tom, be prepared to throw your laptop. I'll put Lewis Hamilton on Ferrari. With a reason. Piss you off.
Oh man. So I'm in agreement, Sean, with Barry Sanders.
With Lewis Hamilton?
Yeah, Barry with the Barry Sanders one. I would like to see Barry Sanders on the Cowboys because everybody else talked about what could he have done behind that offensive line. I would have liked to have seen. Also would like to see Wilbert Montgomery in the Cowboy uniform too. One of my favorite Eagle players. But also, the captain.
You guys went straight homer with
it. The captain. Oh yeah. Well, it's. I mean, this is nothing but homer. I would have loved to see. Yeah, clearly. I would have loved to see the captain play in Philly.
Stop it.
Absolutely.
Go home. You're drunk.
Hey, you asked me the question. I'm just giving you.
I am in for that. I was in all honesty, when I thought of the question, I was hoping it was going to be more thought provoking than let me just pick the Barry Sanders or Calvin Johnson and put them on my favorite team.
Oh no, I mean this is thought provoking, and Derek Jeter in Philly for me would have been great because I think Derek Jeter could have played for anyone, and I think Derek Jeter would have elevated any team that he played on.
Yeah, but that means you don't have Jimmy Rollins.
I don't care about that.
Ooh,
this is just about Derek Jeter in general. I mean, we're talking about like Derek Jeter. Like for instance, okay, I would have loved to see Cal Ripken play for the Yankees as well. Like those things are just like things that wouldn't have happened. And Derek Jeter never would have been a Philly because of Jimmy Rollins. Cal Ripken would never been an Oriole because of Jeter. So like those things are great. Like I wouldn't want to see Derek Jeter play for the Reds. That doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. The Royals, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like take that guy and put him on anybody's team, and they're going to be successful just because of who he was, right? And everything that he brought to the game. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
I tell you. No. Listen, while we're on a roll, man, I tell you what. Could you imagine Allen Iverson playing for like San Antonio or the Lakers?
Don't hurt myself.
Back in the day.
Don't sit there and
just
try to
saying.
rip my heart out. I see. No, but this is it.
But that's what I do.
You brought me now, Danny. All right, Danny. Do you have one, or could you mind if I go?
I think Danny's still.
I can do two real quick, and then you can do whatever you want.
No, you go ahead, man. I'll go last.
Be a real big homer here.
Only way to be with this question.
I'm gonna be a real big homer here. I want to say Baker Mayfield, the Minnesota Vikings.
All right.
And then I would like to say Wayne Gretzky to the San Jose Sharks. But I know San Jose was basically, they didn't come around until later in his career.
Right.
But if there was any possible way that you could have him on the San Jose Sharks, I'd like that. That'd be awesome.
Gretzky also breaking the rules, though, because he's played for multiple teams. So here's mine. You brought up Allen Iverson. And
I thought you said we got two teams.
No, one drafted by their team and played with that team their entire career was the caveat.
Yeah. So, all right. So here's mine. And you said Allen Iverson, and I always said that there was a player in a draft that we should have gotten. And everybody's going to say, oh, he's talking about Paul Pierce. I'm not talking about Paul Pierce. I think, and I'm going to say something that people are probably going to attack me for, and I don't care. I think Paul Pierce is one of the most overrated players in NBA history. And you want to sit here and argue with me about it? Go ahead. Go look at what he did before KG and Ray Allen got to Boston. Go look at his playoff record. He may have put up numbers, but he put up numbers on a horrible Boston Celtics team that was horrible for years until KG and Ray Allen got there. The Celtics were just a bad franchise. They were a 7th, 8th seed, constantly 7th, 8th seed until they made the trade. I think they were a 3rd seed one time with Paul Pierce. They were an overall bad seed with Paul Pierce. The player I wanted was Dirk Nowitzki. Give me Dirk.
Woo-wee.
Give me Dirk and Allen Iverson.
Like it.
Give me Dirk and Allen
Like
together.
it.
All right? That's what I want. You have a dominant power forward that's not going to clog the lane for Allen, who's going to allow Allen to continue to play his driving game. And he's not even going to play. He's not really a big man because he's a power forward, but he's a 7-footer. So, and we all know Dirk's Dirk. He's going to get you 20-something a game easy, and Allen's going to get you close to 30. If you gave Allen Iverson Dirk Nowitzki, the Sixers win at least 3 championships.
I think I have to wholeheartedly agree there. That would have been awesome.
And that's my homer one, because I have a non-homer one as well.
What's your non-homer one?
My non-homer one is give me Calvin Johnson off the Detroit Lions, because look at what he did with guys like Joey Arrington before Matt Stafford got there.
Yeah.
John Kitna.
Right.
And then finally with Matt Stafford. Yeah. The numbers that he put up with those bums. All right?
We're going to put him on Green Bay.
What's up? Say that one more time.
Put him on Green Bay?
Put him where?
Put him on Green Bay?
Put him on Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay.
Put him with AR-12, baby.
I know you.
Come on, put him with AR-12.
I know you so well.
You're so great. Come on,
that's nice. That's nice.
Could you imagine?
Nice.
We saw his numbers in Detroit. We saw how prolific he was in Detroit with shit at quarterback. Imagine him with one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game as his quarterback. Imagine how that would have helped AR-12's career as well.
Yeah. I can see it.
No,
I can see it, man. That's good. That's good.
That's my non-homer one. That's the one that I always hated the most. And we all know Detroit makes players retire early. Barry Sanders retired too soon. Calvin Johnson retired too soon.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That is good right there. I like that a lot. But that's good. That's a great question. So, as my man brought this question, I'm gonna switch gears on you fellas. This is for everybody on the line, including Sean, and everybody that's watching in the feed. I talked earlier about how much I miss baseball, and everybody knows I'm a baseball guy. We had a question put in our group the other day about who the best catcher in baseball was. We talked about it ad nauseum there. The question I have for you all, and I touched on it last week, teased a little bit about it. The best double play combination in the history of baseball. All right. I need you to think about it. All right. This is not really a right or wrong answer, because it is all subjective and everything, but I do believe that I have the right answer, but I'm really curious to see what combinations you guys would like to throw out there. Nate, I know you know a little bit about baseball. Keith, I want your answer in the live feed as well. Best double play combination in Anthony Baltimore said bench. We talking double play combinations now, Baltimore. Best double play combination in baseball. Nate, I'll throw it to you first.
Come back to me on that one because I'm still thinking.
Okay. Danny, you got an answer for that one? Baseball guy.
Me?
Danny.
What's up?
What's up? Best double play combination in Major League Baseball history.
I don't follow baseball.
Oh, why not?
I don't watch it. So I'm just gonna I'm just going to say Ken Griffey Jr. catching one from outfield and tossing it to home plate to get that guy out from trying to steal.
All right, fair enough. Ken Griffey Jr. to the catcher. Fair enough. I like it.
I love it, actually. Because I wish Ken Griffey was one of my teams for playing for a different team if he didn't play for a different team already.
You can't hate it. Sean,
well, you want me to go? Listen, I told Patrick.
Me to go.
I'll go. I told Patrick that before the show started, I did a little homework. I'll try to show you guys this here, all the way down there at the bottom there. That's me writing down double play people and all this fun stuff. I actually did a little homework on the topic because he had said the question to me. It's funny. Me and him talk so much that he doesn't remember the things that he says to me half the time. So he asked me the question.
Right, ain't that crazy?
He asked me the question a week ago and then said, yo, I think it was like on Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday, one of the two. He goes, I got a question for you for Saturday. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have one for you too. And I was like, wait, is your question this? He's like, wait, I told you already? Like that's the conversations me and him have. Anyway, I broke this down the best I could. I did it by WAR, which is wins against replacement, which basically means one of the part when one tandem of the double team tandem isn't there, that means they went down in so many points, so on and so forth. The one I think you're thinking of, someone's just going to try to guess the one you're thinking of, and I'm going to tell you who my favorite was. I think you're thinking of Whitaker and Trammell from Detroit.
Yes, sir.
I think that's the one you're thinking of. Their WAR was 140.5. Like that's substantial. And then
ridiculous.
That's insane. The next, when you look at it in just numbers aspects, so Pee Wee Reese and Jackie Robinson are in second with 106.3. So you're looking at a 33 and some change drop off there. Then the next closest one to that 106.3 is actually the one that I told you before the show started that surprised me the most, which was J-Roll and Chase Utley. And that drops like almost 20 points to 89.4. Then you have the dudes from the Reds, which I never even heard of them. They played from 72 to 79. Kasipacoin and Morgan, or theirs is at an 84. And then there it is right there. Cano and Jeter that Keith just said. That would have been my personal pick because that's right about where I was watching baseball, watching Jeter my whole life, and Cano in the later aspects of Jeter's. So they're from 05 to 12, obviously the Yankees. But the drop off to me again is insane when you go from Kasipacoin and Morgan for the Reds to the Yankees, Jeter and Cano, 84 to 61.3. How much the drop off there in the WAR is almost unbelievable.
Yeah. It's absolutely amazing because I would have thought that Tony Fernandez or Roberto Alomar would have been up JJ's.
I thought Omar Velazquez
Mark Belanger, and I believe Ripken because I think Belanger moved to second. If I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, but I would have thought they would have been up there. I'm really surprised that J-Roll and Utley are up there. But when I heard the question, my immediate thought went to Alan Trammell and Sweet Lou. And the reason for me is I don't know if they're the best I've seen, but I knew that they had pretty much done it longer than anybody else.
That's literally
or just as long or just as long as anybody else. I mean, going all the way back. I mean, because listen, Cano and Jeter, smooth, right? I can't even say anything about that. And the Braves had some pretty good ones too.
But the thing with
J-Roll Utley
is they were almost 30 years together.
Yeah, man. Listen, long time.
Like that's a long time to be consistent too for that long is unbelievable. Yes. It's unheard of. To play like basically they both came in together in 78 and they both played together until basically 95. So they both had 27-year careers in the MLB. Now, if that doesn't tell you something about the MLB, I don't know what does. Basically, that it's the least physically taxing sport there is. But
don't start with me.
27 years, dude. Stop. They played 27 years. At shortstop and second baseman, two positions that require more speed than anywhere else on the field outside of center field because you have to track down balls. But shortstop and shortstop and second base require initial speed to be able to get a quick jump on the ball to get to the gaps. So to sit there,
think about this as well.
These two dudes played for 27 years. Either tell me one of two things: either Detroit was piss poor for 27 years, or these two are really good for 27 years. I know it's the latter. I know they both were really good for 27 years.
They were, yeah.
But it's insane, dude. Like that's like you look at all the other. I wrote down all the years for all the other guys I mentioned. Nobody comes close. Like you have Robinson and Reese going 47 to 56. That's 9 years. J-Roll and Chase together for 9 years. Big Red Machine duo together for 7 years. Jeter Cano together for 7 years. Even the guys that I crossed out that were before 1950. You had Rigel and Gehringer from 30 to 39 for 9 years, and Wagner and Ritchie from 1900 to 06 for 6 years. Like, dude, it is unbelievable that you had a team play for 27 years. All right, I'm sorry, a shortstop second baseman tandem for 27 years on the same team. Now, here's my question to you, because you're more of a baseball head than I am. I know contract rules were different back then. I know players didn't jump from team to team as much back then. But what made these two players in my mind, they had to be best friends, sleeping in the same bedroom, have the same wife. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a lot.
No,
like,
I hear you. I hear you. No, I hear you. The one thing about
I think team play was a lot different back then, though.
Yeah,
from what we see now.
Yeah, and I was going to say, think about how long they played, and think about the rules they played under. All right, remember there were no, give up. Right, those dudes were being taken out on those double plays. Right, so that's a long-term double plays. Right, especially Whitaker, because he was a second baseman. Second baseman gets it a lot worse than the shortstop, mostly on the turn, right? Remember Derek Jeter's famous quote, right? I'll play anywhere on the diamond, second base, though I'm not making that turn. You know what I mean? He said that. They're going to win all-star game. But you're like, nah, I'll play anywhere on the diamond, but I'm not making that turn at second base. So the longevity for them, and they were just so smooth. I mean, that's why the dude was called Sweet Lou, right? Oh, yeah. But it was a great question, and there's really, like, if you want to put it on stats, it absolutely goes to them. But it just goes straight. There has been some dynamic double play duos, some that have lasted a long time, and it's amazing. Like, you're not seeing like Vizquel really mentioned with anyone. You're not seeing Ozzie Smith mentioned with anyone. Hell, we're not even seeing Frank White and Ron Washington, and they were good. That's what blew my mind the most is these
famous shortstops and second basemen. You're not really seeing that. I want to say almost these second or third rate shortstops and center fielder or shortstops and second basemen outside of Jeter, Robinson, and Sweet Lou. Like, all these other guys are they're good players, but they weren't like great players.
Right. And I don't know if we'll see another duo that's going to be as good as some of these guys, right? Because probably the last one that we can say that's really good is Cano and Jeter in recent memory, right? And the only reason why I'm saying that, not that there's not good players, but teams move, players move a lot now. Players change positions a lot, so don't know if we're really going to get to see another combination that we'll be marveling about. Maybe Lindor and Ramirez in Cleveland, right? Maybe. We'll have to see how that all pans out, right? But I'm trying to think now if there's any shortstop second baseman combination that's been together for a minute that we might be able to talk about. Maybe Swanson and Albies down in Atlanta, if they can stick together for a while.
So young.
Maybe. I know, right? That's what I mean. I'm trying to go through some of these. Man, I'm like, Can't come up with anybody.
But that's good though for the league though, because that means the league's young right now, which means that they're young and lasting, opposed to old and looking. You'd rather be young and lasting than old and looking. You know what I mean? Because if you're
absolutely agree with
you. If you're old and looking, that means you don't know where the talent is. You're young and lasting. You have these young guys like Lindor, Ramirez, Almor, Vizquel, all these players, Albus. You have all these young up and coming players. Even you have the dudes on the the young kids on the Phillies right now. As we do for the Yankees, we have young guys. Every team seems to be getting younger, and the future looks bright for the league. But like you said, Jeter, Cano, J-Roll, Chase, both the tandems finished in 2012 together. So that might have been the last best tandem that we've seen him. And like a J-Roll and Chase were 9 years, Jeter and Cano were 7. The other question is going to be: will the players stay together long enough to overcome the 7 to 9 year mark? Because that seems the bigger because if you have great second base shortstop combo, that's going to be the hardest part because other teams are going to try to fish the player off of you.
Right, and so let's take it one step further too, and then we'll get out of here. Even if they are, will it be as comparable because of the new rule? Right now, you can't take them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that comes with every major sport, right? So, like, I'll tease you with this, and we'll come back to it next week or maybe in a couple weeks. With the NFL league going to 17 games, how the record's going to be viewed now when the players start smashing records with the 17th game.
Oh, that's easy.
Hold your thought on that. We're out of here. We want to wish everybody again happy Easter, happy Passover. You all for joining us on the live feed. Thank you guys for calling in. Sean, any last words before we kick it?
Well, this was fun. I enjoyed this one. Hey guys, stay safe out there. Same thing I said last week is the longer you guys stay stupid, the longer we have to be stupid in a house. All right, be safe. Wear gloves. Wash your hands. Take a shower. You filthy animals. We're all stuck in a house.
Bad news. It's over. You enjoyed it. We can sit and debate back and forth. Ain't no Williams. Ain't another place to hold it down. Like the way that we hold it down. Won't hesitate to bet my last song that you ain't know it then. Bet you know it now. Pat and Sean with the dynamic duo. Want the best show around. Reverse 360 windmill. Vince Carter when we put it down. You're now rocking with the major leagues. Show be hitting like Mike Trout. These other guys try and ride the wave, but not the day they get wiped out. Cause we on a whole nother level than them. They follow the trends. We the one that set them. Later smack them like Stone Cold. And that's the bottom line until we stunning something. These lame stations ain't saying nothing. They just talk to hear their voices something. No better place to come vibe out the high spot sports show. Keep that heat coming like Palomalo in the backfield. Relax, chill, everything covered. When we move, full head of steam. Please off the track when the train coming. Want to thank y'all for tuning in. Hope to catch y'all here next week. Same time we'll be zoning out, and we encourage you to call. Be opinionated, bring it on. Just make sure that you're ill prepared and come hard and not at all. Rebel warfare, talking sports here. Ding ding, let's get it on. And unless you stay in stats, you ain't staying check. Keep calm and carry on. 24 in that jersey, feeling something like Kobe with a few seconds on that game clock. Down 2, but who worry? Throwing L's to the competition. Yes. It make me sick to see us winning. Black Mamba mentality. See it better me and go get it. Yeah. You already know how we do, man.
We already know how we do, man.
Hey, yo, Sean, what up?
What up, Tess?
Hey, yo, Pat. Want to thank y'all for tuning in, man.
Yes, thank y'all for tuning in, man.
High Spot Sports Show, baby.
Here he comes. Thanks to everybody for rolling with us tonight. We really appreciate it. We'll see y'all next week. And then we're taking the week after that off for the draft. Enjoy family time. Like Sean said, we gone.